today I'm going to show you how to make a Christmas pudding. Christmas puddings have been eaten at Christmas for hundreds of years. Normally they're made on Stir-Up Sunday, which is the last Sunday in November. The whole family would get together and mix the pudding, and it would be steamed and left to mature till Christmas Day. They used to put charms in it so that when people are eating they got good luck when they found one of the charms. But today I'm going to show you how to make a 10-minute Christmas pudding. One that you can make halfway through Christmas lunch. You think, actually I've got room for pudding. So what can I make? You can make a 10-minute Christmas pudding in the microwave. So what we need is 100 grams of softened butter. We need 100 grams of sugar, 100 grams of plain flour, and one peeled and grated apple. They all get mixed together. This is 2 eggs, which we beat. This is what I find is an easy way to beat them. Just put them in a jar and shake it up. Throw that in there. And you mix it till it's fairly smooth. It's not going to be 100% because you've got apple in there, but you'll see once all the butter's mixed in, that's what you do. How it's looking, it's butter, still little lumps of butter there, so we'll just keep going until it's all mixed in. That looks like it there. Now we have 300 grams of fruit. Now this is just straight out the packet, but if you're planning in advance, you could soak it overnight in a beverage of your choice. I find that apple juice is quite nice if it's a family one. If it's just for adults, brandy, rum, whiskey, whatever you like, whatever your poison of choice is, soak it overnight in probably 2 tablespoons of liqueur. There we go. So that's it all mixed in. Now this is just cranberry sauce. It's 100 grams of cranberry sauce, just left over from your Christmas dinner. It's mixed with 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. Just mix it to make a sauce. Again, I'll give it a wee shake up to make sure it's well mixed. Oh, I nearly forgot the magic ingredient, mixed spice. You need a good tablespoon of that. Do like a spicy pudding. It makes it smell amazing. Pity you can't smell it on the video. There we go, all mixed in. Now this cranberry sauce, we're using a bowl to make the pudding in. I've greased it already with a little butter, and you pour about 3/4 of the sauce in there, and then you put your pudding mix into the bowl. Now, if you are ahead of time and you decided the day before, you could have it mixed up till this stage and leave it aside until after your dinner. All nicely mixed in. And then put a piece of parchment on top. And you pop it in your microwave for 10 minutes.
Oh, sorry, I got my finger in the way there.
Alright, can do that. Can you do that back there? done with it? What have I done with my actual Christmas pudding? Here's one I made earlier. So, 10 minutes have passed. Don't put the dough in there. I'm going to take it out of the microwave. Put it on a dish. A little bit of snow. That's just icing sugar, just to make it look pretty. Peel off your parchment. Turn the bowl upside down. All being equal, it should come out. Sorry, that's all gone. Never mind. Still tastes nice. And then you pour what's left of your cranberry sauce over the top. Serve it with a little bit of cream, and that's all there is to it. 10 minutes, start to finish.
Hello everybody, it's Isobel here from Cowdenbeath Library. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be making gingerbread men and women and boys and girls and a few other Christmas decorations that we could pop on the tree. Now I started today with 4.5 ounces of unsalted butter and 6 ounces of soft brown sugar. Make sure you sieve your soft brown sugar because it can get very sticky and stick together, so you really need to sieve it. So I added these together and I basically creamed them. Now I haven't done this in a really soft way because I don't want lots of air in this, because I don't want the dough to rise. So that's my 4.5 ounces of butter and 6 ounces of brown sugar. Okay, remember it's unsalted butter. So that was that. Then the next thing I did was I took 2 teaspoons of ground ginger and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and I popped them in a bowl along with plain flour, and there is, wait till I just check my recipe, 12 ounces of plain flour and a teaspoon of baking powder. Oh sorry, not baking powder, do not put baking powder in it. Put bicarbonate of soda in it. If you put baking powder in it, it'll make it rise and they won't keep their shape, so don't put baking powder in it. Put bicarbonate of soda in it, okay? So that was 12 ounces of plain flour, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a teaspoon of baking, I will say baking, bicarbonate of soda, sorry. So that's been sifted into this bowl here, and we keep that separate because that's called our dry ingredients. And then I had 4 tablespoons of syrup, okay, golden syrup, and 1 egg, and I've just beat them together in the bowl. Now you can use treacle, but if you use treacle instead of the syrup, it gives them quite a bitter taste, and the kids aren't so keen on that. So if you keep it at the syrup, it's a sweeter taste. Right, let's go through this recipe again. I've got 12 ounces of plain flour, 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 4.5 ounces of butter, 6 ounces of soft brown sugar, 1 egg, and 4 tablespoons of golden syrup. Now again, if you put your butter and your sugar and mix it together, beat it together in the bowl, called creaming, okay, but you don't want it too creamed. Then we have got our egg and our syrup together in the bowl. Okay, that's your wet ingredients there. And then we have got our flour, our cinnamon, our ginger, our bicarbonated soda, all in the other one, okay? So what we're going to do now is we are going to, I'll just give this another wee cream, but I don't want it too dry, too wet, okay? Sorry, a bit noisy. Okay, so what then I want to do is add my egg and syrup together. And give that another wee beat. Sit in the bowl here. Okay, I'm just going to give that a wee beat again. Loosen it up a lot more. Careful that you scrape down the sides of your bowl. Make sure it's all mixed together. Now that's our egg and our syrup mixed in with the butter and the sugar. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the sieved dry ingredients into the bowl and give it a wee swish round, okay? Just start it off very slowly. You never beat this on a high speed. If you beat it on a high speed, it will become too aerated, and it won't puff up and it'll just lose its shape. So just a slow speed. You really just want to incorporate this all together to make it look like a dough. It's a bit noisy when you're doing this, but that's what you want to do. Just give this a scrape down at the sides. Make sure it's all mixed. Oops. You notice as it's beginning to come together more, get more like a dough. It sounds terrible because it's the food mixer's having to work that much more. Now, what I want to do now is put a wee bit of flour on my work surface. This is just to make sure it all comes together. Here it is here. Okay. Squeeze it. There you go. This is it here. This is your dough, your gingerbread dough. Ginger man, ginger person, ginger whatever you want to call him or her. Okay. Let's give him the dough we push together. And we need, don't give it too much of this. If you give it too much, the problem is it becomes brittle. Now what I'm going to do with it now is push it together and put it in the fridge for half an hour or so. And then I'll show you how to shape them and bake them tonight. Okay, see you later. One thing I did forget to tell you with this dough, wrap it in some cling film. Don't just put it in the fridge like this. Wrap it in some cling film and just pop it in the fridge. Okay, thank you. Hello, it's Isobel here from Cow and Beef Library again. This is my dough, and it's been in the fridge. It's been in now for 4 or 5 hours. I took it out about 10 minutes ago just to let it heat up a wee bit so that it's a bit easier to roll. And here goes. I put it between 2 sheets of greaseproof paper just so that it doesn't stick to the worktop. Okay, and here we go. Takes a bit of rolling when it's been in the fridge rather. It gives you big muscles, this, I'll tell you that much. I'm going to try this without one of the sheets, if it makes any difference. A wee bit of flour. Remember, use your plain flour again. Don't put self-raising flour on it, because if you put self-raising flour on it, it'll just make it rise, and you don't want them to rise. Okay. You want this rolled out to about 4 millimetres thick, which is quite thin really, but not too thin or out of burn, okay? A lot thinner than this sheet though. I put flour on the worktop, thinking I was going to roll it on the worktop, but then I thought, well, it might get all messy. So I thought I'd roll it on the paper instead. Beginning to warm up a wee bit, which makes it slightly easier to roll. Getting there. I'll come back to you in a minute or two when I've got this rolled. Might take a wee while. As you can see from our second batch, little on the chubby side. Much better to roll them thinner than fatter, or thicker rather. They also go a bit cracked looking, but we'll fix that. It doesn't matter, it'll still taste the same. This snowman's had a wee bit of run-in with a gingerbread man, and I think the gingerbread man's won. But anyway, we shall let them cool down, and you'll find that they'll go harder when they cool down. They'll seem quite soft to start with. Don't worry about that. It will harden as it goes cooler. Okay, we just let it cool down. It's going to take about half an hour. These were in for about, the first ones were about 12 minutes, the second one's about 14. Okay, but these are quite strange looking, so do cut them thinner. As I say, I've never made gingerbread men before, so it was an experience. Something else you could do with them, if you want to hang them on the tree, is actually poke a wee hole in them right at the top. Just wondering what I'm going to use. Oh, straw is perfect. Maybe a wee bit on the thick side. Yeah, a wee bit on the thick side. If you just poke a wee hole in them, that way the straw's too big. But if you want to poke a wee hole in them, a skewer or something's ideal. You could get a wee lace through it so you could hang it on the tree. This is my gingerbread men stroke, snowmen stroke, sleighs, Christmas trees, anything. As you can see, the ones that are rolled thicker have not turned out so well. So do roll them thinner. They make much better biscuits when they're thinner. Okay, they're all nice and crunchy and they all taste lovely, but the problem is these look like they're octogenarians because they're full of wrinkles and a bit on the plump side. Not that all octogenarians are on the plump side, they are not. Getting there myself. But it's just to let you know, roll them thinner. Can you see the thickness of these ones? As opposed to the thickness of these ones. Much better, okay? Anyway, you learn from my mistakes. What I'm going to do now is start to decorate these. Now I'm going to use royal icing, which is a mixture of icing sugar, egg whites, glycerine and lemon juice. If you're going to mix these in a bowl, make sure that your bowl is very clean and there is no grease in it at all. If you get grease in this bowl, this won't whip up. But the easy way to make this is go in to one of the big supermarkets and buy the packet that says on it royal icing, because all you've got to do then is add water, which is much easier than mixing it all up yourself. I'm going to mix it all up myself, then I'll colour it and then I'll decorate them. Thing is, if you mix it up yourself, it takes longer. And I'll just wait and see how that goes. What I've got now is a toilet roll tube. You can do with this with a kitchen roll tube or the middle of the roll of paper that you've used for wrapping your presents. I'm just going to show you a really quick way to make a box if you don't have one. And it's a very cheap box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten out the end of the toilet roll tube, like so, not all the way up, just on the end. And I'm going to take something that's round and almost the same width as the toilet roll tube, okay? And I'm going to, should have drawn round it, but I've not got a pencil. I score it. Try not to score your table or whatever. Should really have it on a board. Now, I'm not sure if you could see that. There is a score round here where I've drawn. I'll take it on the other side. Only take it halfway up, don't take it all the way around. Just take it halfway up. And do the same again on this side, okay? So it's round here. And it's round here. And stop before you get to your table. Again. Not sure if you'll see that. So open up that one, then we'll flatten this one down, this side. We'll do the same thing on this side. Or this end rather. And round like that. Just you scrape it with your scissors, don't cut it all the way through because you don't want to cut it all the way through. You just want to scrape it to actually leave an indentation. Same on this side. What I'm going to do is push that in, just where I've had the indentation. Same with that side. Same with this side. You want a decent indentation on it. And you see how it folds in? It's what they call a pillow box. Okay? Now, what you can do with this is take a wee piece of Christmas paper and wrap it round the middle. I've got Christmas paper. Lots of Christmas paper. I bought this roll out of Costco about 20 years ago, I think. Well, not quite 20 years ago, about 10. And it still lasts me yet because it's absolutely huge. Now, when you're putting this, don't know what I've knocked over there, when you're putting this round your pillow, don't put it over these bits here or it won't actually fold in. Because you can do this before you start by wrapping it up before you start, which is quite a good idea. But if not, you could just stick it on like so. And it makes a nice, you could fill that with a wee piece of jewellery. Something that's really wee and dainty. Put some tissue paper in it. Or wrap it in tissue paper actually. Would be quite nice. But you could just stick that on. Like so. Put a wee tie around it. And put on the Christmas tree as a wee extra present. Not sure what I've got to tie it with. Ooh. Sure I'll find something in here. Got a bag here of all my old Christmas stuff. Some red ribbon. And tie it on the Christmas tree. Oh, see what I mean? It's just a bag full of odd sorts of things, rubbish that I'm using at the moment. So you could just tie it like so. If you're not too fond of using toilet roll, because somebody's used it in the toilet in these days of COVID, just use the middle of the kitchen roll and cut it down to the size that you want. Doesn't need to be huge, or it can be as big as you want. And again, the edge of your scissors, pop your piece of ribbon on between the edge of your scissors and your thumb and pull. It just gives a wee way. And there you go. You could put a wee loop on it then and hang it on the tree. Okay, so that's really simple to do. It doesn't cost anything, just maybe old bits. But it's handy if you've only got wee bits to go on the Christmas tree. Thank you for watching. See you soon.